first question says solve the system of equations graphed on the coordinate axes below. So what do you do to solve the system here? All you have to do is identify where they meet. Where do those meet? Well, let's make sure we enter it the right way.
I thought it was
7, 1. You're going to put the x value and then the y. Okay? Question 2. Solve the following system graphically on the set of axes below. So we are going to be graphing these lines. Where do you start the first graph? -3. Can you all see that? Down to over 1 right here.
Right.
And I'm going to attempt to draw a line. It's not straight, but it's supposed to be. Switch colors. Where are we going to start the next one? 4.
Then up, over 3.
Okay.
And then the point that they cross is,
It looks to me like they cross right there at -3, 3.
I think so.
Okay. Next question. What is the equation of a line that passes through the following point and has this slope? You are using the green equation for point slope here. Okay, so we know that this is our x sub 1 value, this is our y sub 1, this is our m. So we've got y minus, what are we going to put in there?
-6.
-6, which is going to make it say y plus 6 equals 1/3 times x minus -3, but it's going to say plus 3. Okay?
How come it says +3 if it's negative?
Because the formula has a negative, and when you put a negative number, if you wrote y minus -6 equals 1/3 times x minus -3, minus a negative means you're really adding. Okay? And that happens twice there. Sometimes it'll happen twice, sometimes it'll happen once, sometimes it won't happen at all. Just depends on what your ordered pair is. Test will be tomorrow. So we start here. How do we graph? How do we graph the first one?
We're going to start at 2.
Start at 2. What's the slope? Okay, you know I like to put a few slopes in there so my line's a little straighter.
Right.
Maybe.
Start at 8.
Maybe not. Start the next one at 8.
Then you want to go
Down 1 over 5. So about right there. So where does it look like they cross?
5, 7.
5, 7. Okay. You want to go back to this one? You got a question about this one? Okay. Good. Okay. We're going to keep going. Graph a line that is parallel to the given line. Determine the slope of the given line and the one you graphed in simplest form. Click and drag on the graph to draw a line. Well, first thing we need to do is we need to figure out the slope of this line. So I'm going to start with this point and this point, and we're going to find the slope. Remember that that is the slope is the rise. Must be a delay here. Slope is the rise over the run. What's that look like it's going to be in this problem? Minus 1 over 2. So this slope is -1 over 2. So I need a new line with the same slope. Pick a y-intercept. Anything you want. Who? -1. So I'm going to have a new line graphed here. It's going to be the same slope because I want it to be parallel. And I'm going to have a y-intercept of -1. So I'll start at -1. I'll go down 1 over 2. Do that a couple of times. Make my line a little straighter. Draw my line. If I was drawing it on the computer, it would be parallel. It would be perfectly parallel. And if I was trying to find where they cross, it would be no solution. Yes. The next thing it asks me to do is graph a line that is perpendicular to the given line. Now, perpendicular, what is that going to be? Opposite. What else? Reciprocal slope. So we got to figure out the slope of this line right here. So I'm going to start here and go here. What's it look like? Up 1 over 1. What is your opposite reciprocal slope going to be? Negative 1 over 1. When you turn 1 over 1 upside down, it's still 1 over 1, but now we got to put a negative on there. So we got our slope. Give me a y-intercept. Negative 5. Okay. So we're going to draw a perpendicular line in here that has a slope of negative 1 over 1 and a y-intercept of negative 5. So here it goes. Negative 5, down 1 over 1. I can do that a couple of times. So these are perpendicular. Does it matter that they cross?
Yeah.
I mean, perpendicular lines supposed to cross?
Yep.
Yes. Where do they cross?
At negative 5, 0.
Negative 5, 0. Okay? Question so far. Solve by substitution. So now we're getting over here to where we're solving by substitution. Y'all remember, do you have a letter that's isolated? Draw a box. Draw a box around the other letter that's isolated. Circle what it equals. Drag and drop. So negative 6x equals negative 4x plus 2. Now we're ready to solve. What do you do to solve here? Add 4x to both sides. So that's going to be negative 2x is equal to 2. Divide by negative 2. What is x? Negative 1. So there we go. Got a negative 1 here. What is the y value going to be? Got to put that negative 1 in place of that x. That negative 1 goes right there. Negative 6 times negative 1 is 6. Questions? Good? Do we have something that is isolated? X. So I'm going to put a box around it here. X is equal to y plus 8. I have to drag and drop it. I have to be careful in this problem because what's in front of that x in that first equation? Negative sign. You see that negative sign? I'm going to treat that like a negative 1. And then I'm going to put the y plus 8 inside there. Now I'm ready for plus 8y equals 20. Take a minute to kind of look at that. Drag it and drop it in place of the x. But because the x was negative, treat that like a negative 1 there. And you're right. It's time to distribute. What's negative 1 times y?
Negative 1y.
Okay.
Negative 8.
Okay. Collect these like terms.
7y.
Okay.
Plus 8.
Add the 8.
Then you're going to divide by 6.
Divide by 7. What's y? 4. So I get that answer. What's the easiest way to go back and find x? Plug it in right there. X equals y plus 8. So x really equals 4 plus 8. When what's that? 12. Questions here? Anybody? So we've solved by graphing. We've solved by substitution. So what's isolated? The y. It's also in this equation. It's equal to negative 10x plus 9. So we're going to drag and drop it right there. So we're going to have 2x minus 10, and this is where we open the parenthesis. We put that part in there. Negative 10x plus 9 is equal to 12. We ready? We've made our swap. We've substituted. What is it that we do next? So this is 2x. Y'all know you're supposed to multiply negative 10 times negative 10x? Minus 90. Does 90 need an x? So what do these come up to be?
I feel like X would be 6 or 10.
What's the next step? So 102x is equal to 102. Divide. What's x? 1. Probably. You've probably seen that problem before. Which equation is going to be the easiest for us to find y?
Probably the y equals 12.
I'm going to do the first one. Y equals negative 10x plus 9. And I'm going to put that 1 in place of x. So what's this going to be? Negative 10 plus 9, negative 1. Doesn't look like it's supposed to look right there. Let me fix it. Okay. Has no solution, infinitely many, or exactly 1. This is set up for elimination. If you were to combine these two equations right off the bat, would anything eliminate? What would eliminate? Okay. And the y's? So what does that give you?
No solution.
What's this give you? Nothing. I got a number for nothing. It's 0. What about the 2's over there?
They cancel out too.
Do they really? What do you get over there? Does 0 equal 0?
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. When it's yes and it's true, which of these happens? Infinitely many solutions.
How is there not no solution though?
It would have to be false. It's the exact same problem. The top one, if you multiplied the top one by negative 1, you'd get the bottom one. And so that makes every single part of that cancel out. Okay? You've been scrolling. Oh, I can't get the writing off of it. Well, here's what it said. It said 4x plus y equals 2 and negative 4x minus y equals negative 2. So somebody went through and multiplied the top by negative 1 and it produced the bottom. They are equivalent equations. I know one of them has negatives in it, but because they did it to everything, they maintained the balance.
Can we go on go to that?
Not yet. Determine if the following system of equations has no solutions, infinitely many, or exactly 1. So what happens when we combine these? X is cancel, y is cancel, so what do we get over here? 0. What happens over there? Negative 1. That is false. No solution. When would it be 1 solution? All the other times in the world when y'all get an answer like 3, 5, or something like that, that's 1 solution.
Oh.
Okay? We just hadn't been saying those words, but that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Okay, will anything eliminate right off the bat in this problem? No. What's our goal? We have to have a strategy. Are we going to try to eliminate the x values or the y? Okay, if you want to eliminate the x, I got to try to turn one of those into positive 4. Can I turn this one into positive 4? How would I do that? Multiply by negative 4. What's negative 4 times negative x? Positive 4x. What's negative 4 times 6y? And negative 4 times 3. Okay. The bottom equation is going to stay exactly the way it is right now. Negative 4x minus 2y is negative 14. What cancels?
4x.
So what happens when you combine these?
You get negative 26. Y equals, and then do you add those two?
You do. You combine them. They're both negative.
Negative 26.
Negative 26.
X would equal
divide by negative 26.